Well, hello, movie lovers. Welcome back. You're getting another show tonight. And tonight we're going to review episodes 4 and 5 for Let the Right One In. And I have with me the very talented actor, Jay Jones. So let's get the show going, guys. Hi, Jay.
How's it
How
going,
are you?
everybody? I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. And thank you, guys. Honestly, I told Jay about the show yesterday morning and was like, "Can you please come join me?" And he was like, "No worries, I'll do that." So we had to catch up on the show. But before we get to that, guys, I want Jay to tell you a little bit about him, what he does, and then we'll ask him what he thought about our series that we're watching.
Yeah. Oh, is that on me then?
That's on you, man.
All right. Well, thank you for the introduction, Miss Rossie.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
as she said, we'll get into the show soon, but I'm a security guard by trade, day job, but inspiring actor at night. Yeah. But yeah, no, I got the idea from my coworker, one of my coworkers, Jeremiah Shabazz, who's the creator of Bethany's Interview, which won one of the, Access Sacramento awards. So that gave me the chance, which also got me the exposure that I needed to, stumble across Miss Rossi, who works in the same building I work at, and she noticed me. So I was like, hey, why not? She introduced me to it, and it was my first time ever doing an acting thing, and so that was nice, and I thank him for it and stuff.
Right,
So
right.
many more projects to come.
Right, absolutely. So this is what's so funny, guys. So I've been working in the same building with Jay, and really quick, thank you. Let's see, Danielle, thank you. Jay, thank you. Jojo, thank you guys for being in the chat. And just to let anyone know, if you're listening on our podcast, you can come over to the YouTube channel, Movie Lovers Unite, and please engage us in the chat. All right.
Yeah,
But
feel free
what's
to jump in. I know some of y'all
please
got some stuff to say.
absolutely.
I'm just joking. They know who I'm talking to.
Okay, and he's very funny. He's very funny. So Trip. So you guys know I'm an actress, and both of us were in movies that were played at the Crest Theater a few months back. So I see Jay during the daytime. He's a security guard, and then I'm in the theater, and the film that he's in pops up. What's the name of the film, Jay?
Bethany's Interview.
Bethany's Interview. Okay, and it was directed by.
Jeremiah A. Shabazz, or directed
Okay.
by Sandy. I forget how to pronounce her last name, but she's a great director. But it was written by Jeremiah A. Shabazz.
Okay,
That name I
so
know I can plug.
I'm sitting there and that film starts and I see Jay and I'm like, wait, I know him. I know him. That's the guy that works in the security in the Wells Fargo building. Oh my gosh. So it was really awesome. I find out he's an actor. The film that he was in was really funny. You guys did a great job.
Thank
And
you.
then so when I see him at work, I search for you for like a week because I work at nights. He works during the daytime. I never was able to run into him, and when I did, I'm like, I love the film you're in, and I love to have you on my podcast. And so here we are. So just a little background about Jay. All right. Now, Jay, just your first impressions of Let the Right One In.
My first impressions, again, I started off slow on the show, and so I had to had to throw a little bit of binge watching in on it. And but my first impressions is it started off slow. It did start off,
Okay.
fairly slow. As
Right.
far as the story, I was intrigued. I would say by the first scene. I'm referring to like the first few episodes, but I was intrigued by the first scene, so it started kind of drawing in my attention.
Right.
But there's certain scenes like more towards episode three,
Right.
or the end of two, and
Right.
whatnot, in the beginning of three, that really started catching my attention.
Right.
And
Right.
and then leading on to this one, the episodes we're going to be talking about tonight,
Right.
you know, leads me to it's peaking up on my my interest.
Absolutely. Yeah, I felt that way when it first started. It was kind of slow. Did you ever watch the movie?
No,
Let the Right One In? Okay, you got to check out the movie. There's a book. You got to check it out. It's really good. And as far as the series concerned, they if you watch the movie and you start the series, you're familiar with the courtyard and the apartment complex where the kids are, where the two kids meet, Isaiah and Ellie meet.
Yes.
The movie was all right. It wasn't bad, and I heard the book's really good. But as far as this episode, guys, so episode 4 and 5, all right, and we're just gonna talk about it. So we open up this episode with Mark. He's at a church downtown New York. He's texting Ellie, who is his daughter, letting Ellie know, I'll be in late, so, catch you later, basically. It's going to be a long day for me. Now, we already know that Mark is a really good chef at the restaurant where his best friend Zeke owns. And this was a business that was opened by both Zeke and Mark. And I think a month after the restaurant opened, um, things happened with Ellie and her being bitten and getting this disease, and so he left. All right, so he's back there. Things are going good in this episode. The restaurant's popping, but Mark enters this church, and remember, guys, we know about Ellie and Mark's past because they do a lot of they go back in time, all right, in their minds, and they'll reflect on things that happen. So this church actually was a church that he attended with his wife Ellie, when they were all a family. And so I remember him standing there, and the priest comes over to him. I believe it's the priest, and is like, you're welcome to stay. And he's like, that's okay. But we do know that that's the church where they went to. All right. Want to take it from there?
Oh, from the church area. Well,
From the church, and just that whole flashback scene when you saw that, that basically that was the church that he and his wife and the daughter went to.
my first my first impression at one point though, like since once I started catching on to like what the vibe of the show was,
Right.
uh, my first impression was like, oh, that's a one of those secret society type things. It's a church on the outside, but it could be something else because hey, Mark started showing some Equalizer type shit. He was like the Hispanic Denzel. He was, he started showing some signs that he knew what he was doing.
Right.
Like
Right.
like because that is some of the stuff that piqued my interest was
Right.
that sudden character development and the bringing in of that was like, oh, that's a little different. And then to show that church scene also where does reflect though that what he's doing isn't for like to feed just to feed really. It's a more
Right.
of a
Right.
more of a kind of survival thing for my love, kind of one of those things,
Yep,
those
absolutely.
things.
Yes,
Sorry,
absolutely.
I don't know what
Right.
to do with my hands.
Right.
No,
No, it's
I'm just joking.
no, no, no.
uh,
Please, please, it's
yeah,
fine. No,
fucking
you're
around a
right,
little bit.
because he's not doing it out of spite or hate, meaning that he has to feed his daughter, and so he loves his daughter, and he's willing to do whatever he has to do to. He's trying to find a cure for the virus that she has. That's why they came back to New York, because they were away for a while.
Yeah,
So at episode 4 and 5, you start to notice that he's settling in, work's going good. He's got his vibe back, And Mark kind of goes through this guilt where he feels like if he's enjoying himself too much, it's not fair to Ellie. I mean, he won't even eat like breakfast or stuff because she can't eat food. He lives
yeah,
off of protein bars because he loves his daughter and don't want to do that to her, because unfortunately she can't, enjoy that. So he struggles with that, and that's where Zeke comes in. When you see him at the restaurant, you see how the restaurant's popping, it's busy. He's back in the kitchen, and they gift him, Zeke and the head chef that was there gift him his chef jacket back.
yeah.
Which,
And that's
what did you think about that?
that part was it was like a sense of normalcy. It was one
Yes,
of those
right,
things because Mark is one of those people who's like he wants to avoid that for that reason.
right,
Knowing what him and Ellie are going through, like he kind of wants to avoid that. Kind of exile himself, but
right,
in order to survive and do what is what it takes to keep his daughter alive, while
right,
also finding a cure, while telling her that that's not what he's doing.
right, right,
Like leaving
right.
like a like quadruple life type stuff
Yep,
is it's like the sense of normalcy was like, oh, it like really opened them up.
Yeah.
And then but I lost focus after a while. Like I started losing focus because I
Okay.
started paying attention to the other opposite side of the spectrum,
Right.
looking at Claire and Peter, like
Yes.
the situation
Yes.
that they were going through, which
Yes.
is almost the same thing, but in like a different way, come to
Right.
find out, like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's like wanted to
Right.
watch it or anything, but coming to find out like that there could be a possible connection between the two stories that is yet
Right.
to come.
Right.
Like it threw me off because I started thinking of more or less that, like the sense of normalcy, because what
Yes.
Peter's sister Claire started to do compared to what Peter's dad was doing, and
Right.
all that. So it was like you can see at some point, like my focus started losing because I was like, oh, the stories are starting to correlate in some
Yes.
way, and
Yes.
so that's what I was taking from that, and the sense of normalcy was was heartwarming. And then I found out Ellie is a little badass that don't like to listen, and breaking into
Right.
people's houses and shit.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
mean, the little boy's innocent.
Right. So, and that's what's so cute is that Ellie coming back and meeting Isaiah, you guys know that gave her normalcy, because
Yes.
remember, it's just her and her dad on the run, and
And that was
so,
another thing. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. My bad.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
That was another thing that like piqued my interest in the beginning of the show, which led to more of my interest because at first, like the Mark is he's a great actor, and
Yes, he
because I've
is.
seen him in he's good in The Nun and a few other movies he's in, and
Right.
but the adult actors weren't really catching my attention in the beginning. It was
Okay.
the introduction of like when the kids started, like the kids' first interaction,
Yeah.
like though like the kid actors, they kind of sparked. I was like, okay, now there might be,
Right.
there might be
Right.
something into it.
Right. And so when Jay is talking about Ellie being a badass and not listening to her dad, because remember, he's not going to be home. So Ellie's like, and she's going from her window to Isaiah's window. Okay. And that's how they meet up. So Ellie shows up and she's like, hey, my dad's going to be gone all day. I even got some money. Let's go to a movie. Isaiah's just not feeling it. He's going through the fact that, remember, guys, last episode he was beaten with that bag of ice by those bullies.
Yeah,
Okay,
like a
and you
bunch of
remember,
prisoners. It was like a prisoner. It was
right? Isn't that
like allows kids to
that
just
scene, right? When he showed like the bruises, I mean, you hear about that like in a military or something like that.
right.
Like these kids
It's cold.
they can't stand this kid. Okay, so they beat him, and what did Ellie do? Didn't mean to break the little boy's hand or finger,
Uh,
but broke
I'm not
his
sure about
finger.
that part.
You
I'm
know,
not sure about
you
that part.
saw
I
how
think
she
I think
licked
Ellie
the
meant to do
blood,
that. I
the
think
way
she
she
meant to do
looked.
that. Yeah, I think
She
she kind of meant to do that.
she doesn't know her own strength, right?
Yeah, because she's
So
never had to do that before.
absolutely, because dad's been taking care of all of that. So, so we remember that happened last time. So I think Isaiah is still going through that, that beating. And also remember, guys, he's trying to figure out where the hell is his dad? Where's Frank? Frank
Oh,
is
that was another thing that got me too.
yes, go ahead,
When I
talk
saw
about it.
that, when I saw that connection, oh yeah,
Wasn't that
for
wild?
I'm pretty sure, I've seen, during my brushing up, I've seen that you've already done episode 3 and stuff. So
Yes.
I'm pretty sure, the people that have seen that, won't be
Yeah.
spoiled from what I'm about to say, like, but the fact, Mark killed, Isaiah's dad. It's
Yes.
just like that
Yes.
one, like, that's another thing that just like really caught my attention. I was like, oh,
Right.
okay. That's some Equalizer John Wick shit right there.
Right.
Like,
And you move next door and you don't know that the person that lives next door to you is a
and
detective
until the kids start opening up, which is
until
crazy.
right. Right. And just to let you know, Jay, when we do these reviews, it's a spoiler review for just the episodes that we're talking about. Okay? So if
Oh,
you
cool.
go
Then I won't
further
tell
than that, so
anybody
you
about
don't
me getting to 7.
so yeah, don't talk about that just but you can do spoilers
Nah,
for this episode because we're going to talk about
got you.
all of it. And a lot did happen in this episode. So Isaiah ends up, deciding that she's going to he that he'll go ahead and hang out with Ellie. But what's going on is, remember, Naomi is still tripping off the fact that she shot that guy in the sewers the week before that. So she's having a hard time. She's a cop, these things happen, but she felt really bad. It hurt her
Mhm.
because this was a young man. And just to let you know, if it wasn't going to be, him killed, he was going to kill Ben, who is her partner, and her. She's
Yes.
struggling with that, so she decides that she's going to go to the vigil that they're having for the young man that got shot. Um, and so Ben is going to babysit Isaiah. And so Isaiah and Ellie decide to sneak out, and they go to Tannins, which is, as we know, it's Isaiah's favorite freaking place to go. Remember, Isaiah wants to be a magician. So he goes to that magic shop and has a great time. And then tell what happens after that, Jay. Where
Uh,
does Ellie take them after that?
Oh, Ellie hits him with the honey pot move, the good old bait and switch. That's what that was. Yeah, because she wanted to go to the movie, and he's like, "Nah, I can't go out." And she's like, "Ah, nah, it's good. Let's come out." And he's like, "Nah, under one condition." That's where he thought he was playing the big man. He's like, "One
Right,
condition," and then so they go to the magic shop, and then she's like, "All right, before we go, let's take you here." That's why I'm saying she's a little secret badass, making
right, right,
motherfuckers accessories.
right,
But
right,
because she goes to her old childhood home, which is a opening moment for her. Though it's a wall bringing down moment kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
As how I took it. She felt comfortable enough, as in
right,
oh, I'm gonna take him, and I want to see this because I feel that he'll still be cool, and that was nice. That was nice. Other
right,
than breaking into somebody's house, and
right, right,
but that one was nice though, and they ended up after they leave the house and start heading back home is when like where he finally gets back into the house and finally confronts Ellie,
right,
asking questions
right,
and having that breakthrough moment, and
right,
just asking questions, and he finds out that she's a vampire,
right,
and and then the whole that's where the conflict starts, and then starts bringing back towards Peter, Peter and
right.
Claire,
Yes,
which is the other side of the spectrum where Claire was more or less trying to find a cure for her brother
right,
in the same light as Mark, in the
right,
same way Mark is trying to find a cure for his daughter.
right,
She's trying to do it for her brother, but she
right.
just so happens to have like more resources. But we also find out though that
Mhm.
she has problems. She's also about to be going through some stuff um,
Right,
that's different, which is going to put her in some sort of predicament, something
right,
that's going to make her do what her dad was doing,
right.
which is something she didn't like.
Right. She totally hated her dad. I mean, he was a big pharmaceutical guy, and this was the type of man where he found out that the drug that he had on the market was killing people because they were becoming addicted to that drug. And he didn't care. He continued to do that because, money over everything. And Claire, who is a scientist, wants to do work for the good. She doesn't want to do that and has total does not like her dad. You guys know she hates her dad, but when it comes to Peter, you get to see the relationship that her and Peter have. They're tight, and Peter is obviously going through a lot of pain because of those injuries from being burned. And Ellie decides, or I'm sorry, Claire decides that she's been working on some type of cure, okay, to help him with the pain. Matthew, who is very loyal to Claire's father, and now Claire decided to, try it on me. They tried it on the chimpanzee. We got to see that, okay, they like the pain. So she decided to try it on Matthew. He volunteered, and what do you know? It freaking works so good to where Matthew was like, dig deeper, like make
Yeah,
a
that was some stuff. That was
wasn't
some,
that crazy? It took
yeah,
me a while to realize, like, wait, what's going on? It's like, oh, okay. They, it needs to be this way so that they can work on getting those scabs off of Peter. So the drug does work, and we see her pulling those scabs off of Peter. And he tells her in the midst of her doing this, it actually feels good. So Claire, now knowing that, dad didn't really take care of business like he was supposed to, because the house is on the block, okay? It's up for sale unless they're able to keep it. And, Claire needs that, they need that laboratory, they need everything. So Matthew comes up with an idea to do what, Jay?
it comes up, yeah, pretty much go back to the old business.
Right, right.
Well, at least that's what he's implying from what
Yes,
I got. Know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Freaking, he was doing all that, so he was yeah, pretty much implying that wants to go back to the streets and
Yeah,
stuff,
right,
or pretty
right.
much like doing what he was doing, and also like uh that dude, that one dude that well, they never
Yeah.
gave him his name, but the henchman, we'll just call him a henchman. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
they did.
Um,
They end up giving Roland. His name is Roland. We find
oh,
that out in
okay.
episode 5. His name is Roland. And go ahead, speak about Roland.
Yeah, that one was crazy. That one was like real nuts because like the way like they portrayed it, like they got him obviously,
Yeah,
which brings
right,
Zeke back into the picture. Brings
right,
back Zeke back into the fold. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, like, brings Zeke back into the fold, and freaking, and so it's like brings him back into that life,
Right.
and I believe though that Roland has a part, something to do with Claire,
Yes.
because I haven't I'm pretty sure I haven't made it too far into episode 5 just yet. I'm almost there, I'm
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
um I'm almost there, but you know go ahead and spoil it though, like don't
Okay.
worry about, like go, I'm
Okay.
not tripping.
Okay. I'm
Know what
going
I'm
to tell
saying?
you. So
Yeah,
we
so
met Roland, who we did not know his name was Roland. We met him in episode 2 or 3. Okay, because remember, when Mark killed Frank, on that phone that Frank had, Mark, replied to a message, and that's where he went to the industrial district, where he was sitting in the car, Zeke's car, trying to
mhm.
figure out, because that drug, remember that drug that's out there. So when you see Roland, you see him watching last week. He's been following Mark, and
Yeah,
Zeke now. So he saw them dump the body. He ends up at the restaurant. They don't know who he is, but Mark remembers his face, but can't call a name. Okay, but he knows he's seen this person before. So Roland makes it to the restaurant. Okay, he's sitting there. The night was great. They decided to do a favorite hits menu of
oh
all
yeah,
the
that was
great
nuts.
dishes that
And then his
Mark.
signature, Mark's
Right,
signature one
what
that
was
he
his
had.
name? Yes,
And then
yes,
yeah, and then Roland, just when he came in though, you know what I'm saying? He was just like, bro, it was nuts because like that was some pretty damn good acting on that one, because it looked like his neck was about to really snap. You know what I'm saying?
right, right. And because
And then
he
Zeke came
introduced
in.
himself, right, as a friend. Remember, he introduced himself as a friend. Zeke liked him, and Zeke's
Yeah.
like introducing him to Mark, and so but we know, Jay didn't know, but we know this is not a good situation. Like they don't know who they're about to, the situation they're about to have in the office. And
Yeah.
Jay, you can talk about that situation.
That one right there was that was nuts because like that's what really put me onto the fact to where like Mark is on some equalizer shit, like because when he had told Zeke, because in the first few episodes he's like, hey, a friend helps you move, a real friend helps you move a body, and then he comes in was like, I've done this before type
Right,
stuff, like he
right,
knows what he's getting into,
yeah,
and and that's something Zeke doesn't want to get into at that point.
right,
And
right,
but I mean they're almost in too deep, and I don't think they know. I really don't think they know exactly what they're getting into,
right,
like the scope of like the real scope of what it is.
right,
Because Claire, her doing her modifications and whatnot to that said drug, and
right,
then going back into the market,
right.
it's gonna be nuts. I'm sure of it. Like
Oh,
uh,
absolutely. Absolutely. So, they end up getting the better of Roland. And thank goodness for that, because if not, Roland was going to kill Mark. And
oh yeah,
Zeke knocked him on the head with that beautiful picture that he happened to
that's
give
one
Mark.
that's
And
one
it
hell of a
was
frame. I tell you
that
that
was a
much.
hell of a frame. I mean, and I like how they show this frame to let you know and see the thickness of this frame, so that when
Yeah.
Zeke knocks him out, you know that he busted the back of his head. But the picture was really beautiful because it was
Well,
in, go ahead.
the symbolism of the picture as well though too, like if you
Yes,
notice like the symbolism of the picture, like the not only was it cracked though, but there's blood spilt on the family
on the
and stuff.
family.
There's once hence again, that's why the look was there, like when
Right,
Zeke had that look, he's like, oh well, I mean, here we go again, you know what I'm
right, right.
saying?
Because remember, Zeke used to help them out,
Yeah,
and back in the day when this first happened with Ellie, he used to help them out, and he couldn't do it anymore. I mean, he was giving blood to feed Ellie. Well, what they did, which I'm sure when when they kill Roland, how funny was it when Zeke comes back in? Because remember, Mark's like, go get rid of a car. Zeke comes back in, and freaking Mark has this body turned upside down, draining the
on
blood from him
on
because
a brand new green couch though.
on a
Of all,
brand new green couch, just
on
tied upside down. And Zeke's like,
right,
no, we're not
you know,
doing that. You
Biggie
know, we're
said money green leather sofa. I'm pretty sure he did not mean it for that type of use though.
oh, you know he didn't mean it for that type of use. So he drained them,
you know,
guys. He got the blood. He drained them. You can't let a body go to waste.
in
So
the
they got
process
to get
though
rid.
of
The
how he
and
got the blood though. Like that's the
yes,
process that he uses for other bodies for how he gets the
absolutely.
blood for Ellie, which was
Yep.
um which was interesting to see,
Yes.
nonetheless.
Yep.
So that's was like, yeah, he's done this before.
Yes.
Obviously he's done this way too. I mean, within and then he's like set your timer for 36 minutes.
Yep.
That's all you got. The
Yep.
last time I saw somebody do that was Denzel. So
Oh my gosh, Jay, you're
so like
funny.
that was yeah, I know comedy's kind of my main genre. The homeboy
I
the the homeboy Shabazz just had me playing the antagonist
okay. Yeah, I get
in
that. I
Betsy's
actually
interview.
get that. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to tell us where you're going to be doing your stand up at. I mean, I knew when I brought you on, we would have a fun time and we'd be laughing because just the short interaction I had with you, you had me dying. And even seeing you in a movie, I'm like, yeah, he's a comedian. He's actually a
Yeah.
comedian. So yeah, thank you for giving us laughs tonight and
Oh
the
yeah, no problem.
and your take on this. But he's absolutely right, guys. It's down to the minute that Mark has done this so many times that when he puts that timer on, it's go time, and he's so good at it. And the blood only lasts, like Jay said, he has 36 minutes. After that, it goes bad. And what's sad about this is that you know just like when they made Peter feed when just for the experiment to when Claire wanted him to feed and Peter just he's like, I'm not hungry yet. They don't want to have to do this. They only want to do it when they have to. Well, Zeke is like telling Ellie, drink the blood. And Ellie's like, I don't want to. And Zeke goes off on her and makes her drink the blood. And it was really sad because Ellie doesn't want to be a monster. She doesn't want to feel that way. She doesn't want to feed unless she absolutely has to. So
Yeah.
seeing the interaction with her and Zeke, who is her uncle, her godfather, and it was so sad when he went to go and apologize to her because he knew it was wrong the way that he yelled at her. And she's smart enough. Remember, when Isaiah questions her about what are you, how old are you? Remember, guys, we find out Ellie is about 20 years old.
Right. Yeah.
She's about 20 years old. And remember the conversation she had with Isaiah, which was oh, sorry, I'm a few episodes ahead. Let me stop myself. I was about to do what I told you not to do.
Uh
Anyways, but we do know that she's about 20 years old, guys. So but anyway, so they Mark ends up getting rid of the body. He does what he does. He's getting rid of the car. He sets it up a certain way so that if and when the body's found, it won't look like anything happened. But going through Roland's car, he did find that pack of the drugs. And remember, a couple episodes ago, Mark only had one left. Now he has a
yeah.
whole bag. And so we'll then go back to Naomi because we end up finding out after she goes to that vigil, and they're not very happy about her being there. Obviously, I mean,
Oh
you just
no.
killed
Yeah.
our kid. Go ahead and talk about that, Jay.
She had a pretty strong message too. Uh,
She
well,
did.
I want to before like I forget. I want to say like another reason why I kind of like started getting into the show, like liking it,
Mhm.
is that their take on the vampire genre is actually pretty is different. It's a different
Yes.
approach.
Yes.
It's like if you put like a vampire into a zombie virus type stuff, it's
Right.
a different
Right.
approach. So
Right.
I forgot to touch up on that in the beginning there
Right.
when I
Sure.
was supposed to. But so I wanted to say that, but after the visual, yeah, it was like the a sense of like another sense of reality.
Yes.
Cops murdering,
Yes.
innocent
Yes.
people,
Right.
and being portrayed as the hero in most cases.
Right.
Given the circumstances
Right.
and stuff. And but when she goes to face the father
Uh,
was some stuff.
yes.
Because it's like the father facing judgment, not getting
Right.
nothing, but it also opens it up, and
Right.
which leads her to the meeting that
Yes.
that she doesn't know that her dad was attending that meeting. I don't think she knows that her dad was attending that meeting, like
No,
that
I
one
don't
in
think so.
sure.
Yeah,
But
I
that
don't.
was on the same block though.
Yeah, it
That's on
was.
the same
And
block as where her dad, not her dad, her husband,
right,
not her dad, her husband,
right,
would post that because he was
right,
selling the dope for the money and stuff, and that's
right,
where he would. That's why the dude, one of the guys that was on the drug, came up to Zeke and
right,
thought he was you know
right.
Naomi's husband
Yeah,
because staying right in front, and so I'm actually anxious to see really where that does go
right.
because I think it's something. I think it's something bigger, like bigger
Yes,
than the whole. Even Claire and Ellie and stuff like that. Like
absolutely.
the origin. I want to see where that's going because that was different. Because now that Naomi is, she's kind of stepping her foot into the ring there, and you know. Stepping her foot into the possible connections, because
Right.
I can see all the connections are starting to correlate in some type of way.
Yes, we find out when she does go to the AA meetings that she talks to the instructor, and the instructor's like, I can't tell you too much, but I have had a lot of people in my class at the meetings disappear. So it kind of makes me think, okay, those people that were found in that sewer that were all dead, you know, were they all connected to that AA meeting? Because remember, these dealers stand outside of these meetings, and that drug is very potent. What they take, it changes them, and that's what I believe the young man was on. Because remember, when he was in the sewers, and when they saw him coming at them, his eyes were glowing, and that drug that's one of the side effects. The eyes you can see at night. Your eyes glow. But
Yeah, it
I
enhances the visual
it
for
enhances the
yeah.
visuals. You got that superhuman power, um, like what Ellie has naturally because she's been bitten. Also, she goes to the apartment to go and check up on Frank, and her and her partner Ben go there, and she ends up finding out that the last time that his phone binged was when he had dinner that night with Isaiah. So he went missing around that area, which leads them to that warehouse where she ends up finding Frank's little token for his 12 steps.
Yeah,
So we now know, and she now knows, he died here. He has to be dead because he has not been seen anywhere.
and
So
that's where all the
yeah,
other bodies were found.
and all the
Okay,
other body,
got you.
absolutely, absolutely. So that all that's happening, so everything is going to come together now as far as episode 5. And here's one thing I want to mention. Do you notice that when you first seen Claire in the earlier episodes, how proper and how just plain Jane she was, to now it's like the more she starts working on that medication, when she told Matthew, go ahead, let's go ahead and do it, let's sell my medication because they need to sell the house. You notice how her looks are starting to change. She's wearing more makeup, her clothes are dark. Matthew starts wearing darker clothes. I just wanted to point that out. That was something that I noticed. It's
Yeah,
like, you notice
she's
that where,
starting.
go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, no,
No,
go ahead.
she's starting to. Maybe she's not noticing it yet though, but
Right,
she is starting to revert kind of to what her father was doing.
right, right,
But she's gonna try to justify it in her sense. But
right.
yeah, because that's what I did notice. She was more modest and more way against everything,
Absolutely,
type stuff. And
absolutely.
now that she's like, oh, okay, well, you know, this is happening, so yeah, I'm more or less likely to do this because it's something I have to do. Because
Right,
she figures she gave up her life and her legitimacy to
right,
do what she's doing and
right.
stuff, and she's doing it like that. Um, so that was interesting, and I did notice that.
Yes, okay. Also, let's talk about the warehouse. So, what's going on in episode 5 is basically Ellie's is getting to the point to where she feels like you guys are doing so much for me and I haven't even helped. So they are going to go back to that warehouse area where we saw Matthew take Claire, because remember they go 2 months before, And then they start showing everything that happens. They show how Frank was approached at the AA meeting by Roland. They show the warehouse area where Mark was outside of that warehouse. And remember, there was a lot of people there. So he was going back there to find out more about Roland and to get to the woman, because he does now know there is a woman that is at the top of this, okay? This time though, Zeke, Mark, and Ellie, they all go together. So Ellie's now going to be in on trying to help herself basically, okay? But when they go there, no one's there. The warehouse is empty. And so when they show it empty, then they do a two months before, and then you see how the layout was. Like, Matthew's in charge of all of this. Roland was actually his underboss, and these are his fellow soldiers, friends that he went to war with, that are working for him. So, but they don't know anything about Peter. They don't know anything, and they have this elaborate laboratory set up at this warehouse area. And so when Mark decides to take Ellie and Zeke there to show them, no, I'm not making this up. Like, I I believe there is something going on. Nothing's there. Everything is freaking gone. And then towards the end, what do we see? What's happening with Peter because of the medication with Claire? You go ahead and speak about that. Did you
Well,
did you see that? Did you see that?
oh yeah, after
Okay.
after like the skin grafting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that was pretty nuts. Like, like how he's starting to look normal. He is starting
Right.
to look normal, and it's almost like he's getting his sense of normalcy back.
Yep.
Um, I don't think I've seen too much further after that though.
Okay.
So feel free to spoil me
Okay.
anytime.
Let me tell you.
But
So what we end up noticing is that that medication is working, but it's working faster than it's supposed to. He wasn't supposed to have those results for like a month or two down the road. It's happening fast. And Peter, now we're able to see how he really looks. And before that though, we did get to see him, because we saw the picture of him which with Ellie in that same classroom, which connected them. But you notice that, you know, um Claire says to Peter, "You're in the mirror again," because he can't stay out of the mirror. He's
yeah.
seeing himself again. He's feeling himself basically.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, it's because like I think I don't know what it was like. Because once she injected him with the drug and stuff, like his heart rate cleared faster. Like it
Yep.
slowed down faster, and
Yep.
he grew more into it. Like
Right.
as in like he took to it easier. So
Right.
yeah, like that's nuts that he's gonna be back into the mirror. Back feeling himself.
Right.
Ready to move and stuff. Possibly possibly becoming a dealer or something. Himself or something
That's
like
what
that.
that's what I'm wondering, because I remember he had mentioned that he didn't like the fact that her drug was able to slow down the or the aging process. He
Yeah.
didn't like the fact that it would make him age, like he would go back to aging normally. I think he enjoys the fact of not aging, because he mentioned that he liked that. So he seemed a little bit disappointed. So I'm wondering, with him feeling himself, is he going to be a problem? If they
That's a
let
good
him
question.
out, is he going to be a problem? And so that's something for us to find out. This series has 10 episodes. We have a few more episodes to go. Like I said, guys, we're going to double up so that we can get through this, finish this, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. Okay. Anyways, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much the everything that happened, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think leading
yeah,
up to now, just
up
generally
to
up
now.
to now.
Right. And I do want to mention, guys, also, remember now, Isaiah, after, Ellie confessed and said, "Hey, I am a vampire." Isaiah's scared now. You see him in
Oh yeah,
episode one. Go ahead.
he's having the nightmares and stuff now. Yeah, he's
Yes.
having the nightmares of her, of some. I actually thought it was gonna happen. I was like, damn. I thought, after seeing how Ellie's a badass, I thought she was gonna, do what she did in his nightmare, but and
Right.
then pull the teeth back, like just playing, like,
Right. 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 Right.
like,
I love that
but
growth that they did of her and the changing, because he's
yeah,
having a
like that was.
nightmare. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, like, and it was, and it shows, because it shows that I don't know, it shows to me like that he feels like he still wants to, like wants to be cool with her and stuff like that, but doesn't know exactly just yet and
Right.
stuff. Hence why, he kind of, it's one of those father son kind of things that's why he wants to speak with his dad so much.
Right.
And then that's why he also says, he's gonna tell his mom, like, if his dad don't smile, I'll tell you. But
Right.
but I think it can also, I think also those like the way he wants it to be like that. It could also be like, it's yeah, I don't care about the vampire thing, but let me jump gears real quick because I am a 12-year-old boy. Uh,
Right. Right.
like let me ask my father how I should feel about women type stuff.
Right. Right.
It's like because I like
Exactly.
her, I want to tell her that I like her. Yeah, I
Right.
wanted to tell her I like her, but she done sprung this shit that
Right.
she a
Right.
vampire and shit, like so I don't know how to feel about that.
Right. Right. And
uh,
also with that, oh gosh, with that, Isaiah, oh yeah, okay, so we'll end it with this, okay? We find out, or Naomi has to break it to Isaiah that I believe your dad is dead. I don't have proof, but I believe that your dad is dead. So he finds out that that's why his dad's not responding to him and getting back to him, why his dad didn't take him to the magic show or even go to his talent show
yeah,
because of that. And that was just really sad because you see up until this point this kid's trying to reach out to his dad and you feel so bad for Frank because you realize he was getting his stuff together. He really
yeah, he
was
was
going to
trying.
this. He was really trying. He was trying to do it. And I think he also not only wanted a relationship with Isaiah, but I think he also wanted to get back with his wife. So there you have it, guys. That's where we're
Yeah.
at. Um,
Oh, one
Go
more
ahead.
thing before we
Go
go.
ahead,
A
please.
thing that I'm like foreshadowing maybe,
Okay.
because I haven't made it too far in, but I'm foreshadowing. So like at some point, now that Naomi though is stepping her foot into the ring, something I should have said earlier was like her and Mark, I believe at some point will have some sort of connection,
Right.
leading
Right.
on to like the
Right.
investigation of it,
Right.
because she has resources, he has skills,
Right.
type stuff. So, but that's also gonna bring a climactic scene between Ellie and Isaiah, though, of
Absolutely.
because you got to think at some point maybe if they get together, Mark's gonna have to break the news of what he did.
Right. And will Isaiah tell his mom?
Yeah,
Something's going to happen, and we're getting to that point, and I'm just dying to find out how if Naomi when or if Naomi finds out how that's going to happen, how that's going to affect the relationship, and if Isaiah finds out that Ellie's dad is responsible for killing her or his father, like it's just so much. So it's so far, guys. I really like this series. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, guys, you can catch it on. Let's see, Friday nights it streams, and then you can catch it on Sunday night on Showtime at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific time, and it should be about 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on Showtime. Anywhere you stream Showtime, check this out. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. Jay is enjoying it. And Jay, I'm going to let you have the final words. Tell us where people can find you. If you have any projects coming up or any shout outs you want to do, please.
oh well, shout outs is gonna instantly come up to J.A. Shabazz, who knows who he is now. I'm saying, the creator, creator and writer of Bethany's interview and many projects to come, such as the Mediation 2024. That one's
Oh,
gonna be fire. The Can Man, that's another up and
oh,
coming one.
wow.
Without going like a bunch of stuff on the works, possibly I might be in it with different roles. You might see me in
Okay.
a comedian type thing setting or another villain role. You know what I'm saying? But something's gonna happen. Now I'm saying, gonna keep it going. Give a shout out, give a shout out to everybody that I'll be working with. Trevis's,
Please do
the
it.
Donnie, the Donnie D, all them peoples. JoJo. I seen JoJo was in here. I gotta give a
Yes.
shout out to him.
Yes.
Cool peoples. Shout out to everybody that was watching. Thank you. You can find me, I guess, on Facebook. Jay Jones. I'm also on, Miss Rossie's page, so you can find me on
Absolutely.
there. And that's generally about it. Look forward to seeing y'all again on a future podcast, doing the
Okay.
thing. Know what I'm saying,
Okay. Okay.
and that's it for me. Wow.
Well, stay there. Don't leave. Stay there.
Okay, I ain't going nowhere. Know what I'm saying, I'll be
Yeah,
right here.
don't you leave. So Jay, I want you to
Not yet.
definitely let's see, who do I have there? Movie Lovers Unite. I just want to say hi. That's John. Hi, John. John is the head of this channel. He started this channel and has given all of us Charlie Widman. You can find him on Twitter. You can find Alex Haynes for A-Town Reviews. Check him out. John DiGregorio. Check him out on Movie Lovers Unite. And you can find me on Instagram, guys. Everything will be in the description. Also, I do have a new YouTube channel. We'll be going live not only on this channel, but my YouTube channel. As soon as that's up, you know how Facebook or YouTube is. They make you wait about 48 hours. That channel is going to be called Rossie Talks. Let's see, next week, guys, we're going to do episodes. Let's see, we did 4 and 5, 6 and 7 next week. And Jay, we would love to have you back on the show. We'd love for you to be a friend of this channel, maybe come back, do a movie review if you want to review something, if you have something that you want to promote. We'd love to have you back. You
Oh,
have
no
been
doubt.
a lot of fun, and absolutely, you got to come back and join me and sit with me again. Um, as always, guys, please like, subscribe, and please share. Please share. Please share, guys. Also, those that are listening on podcast, thank you guys so much for always supporting us. And those that are in the chat right now, Danielle, let's see, Isis, Jay is going to be here, guys. I'm going to interview him.
That's the guy
Um,
right there.
I am going, and thank you, Jay. Jay Jones hooked me up with Jay. So I will be interviewing Jay on January, let's see, the 12th, which is going to be a Thursday. Okay. And remember, January 11, Joanne will join me. We're going to do, and it was the John Hughes films. Okay. So we're going to do those films and do some rewatch. Um, and I think that's about all, guys. I appreciate you joining me, guys. Thank you for joining us last night for Pharaoh. I enjoyed that interview as well. Again, guys, love you so much. Be safe. Have a good rest of your week. We are out,
We are
guys.
out. Know what
So,
I'm saying?
you know,
Wow.
let me you guys know how this goes. I got to get it together, because I'm a little slow with things. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. Good. Bye-bye.
Peace.